Much like the discovery of adolescence at the beginning of the 20th century, we are now witnessing the emergence of a new life stage during older adulthood. Some have called this the third age because it arrives after midlife and before significant functional decline begins to occur. Individuals in the third age are typically considered the young old, between 65 and 79 years of age, and are in relatively good health. But in contrast to other stages in life, in the third age, there are few norms and expectations guiding structured activities or activity patterns that might serve to provide opportunities for purposeful living and quality ties to others that we know are so critical to health and quality of life. We as a society are just starting to grapple with how older adults will want or need to spend these extra years and what can be done to ensure that increased lifespans are met with increased health spans during this new and uncharted stage of life. It is well documented that continued engagement in life is an important contributor to maintaining health and vitality as we age. In fact, in 2002, the World Health Organization put forth a framework emphasizing the importance of active aging, a process that aims to extend healthy life expectancy and quality of life for all people as they age. In this framework, participation in social, economic, cultural, spiritual, and civic affairs is positioned as one of the three pillars of active aging, in addition to health and security. So what do we mean by participation? Here I'm talking specifically about social and productive engagement. The term social engagement is commonly used to refer to one's participation in the activities of a social group. Social engagement is different from the concept of a social network in that a social network focuses on membership in a group, such as family or friends, rather than the social activity. So while one social network may include individuals that an older adult feels they can talk to about private matters or call on for help, social engagement refers to the elder's participation in collective activities that are voluntary or willfully chosen and in which there is a social exchange. Examples include going to church, participating in a social club, or contributing to a discussion group on social media. For the most part, social engagement excludes activities for which one is getting paid or family obligations. Productive engagement, on the other hand, usually refers to the activities that produce goods or services or develop the capacity to produce them, whether they are paid or not. This includes paid employment, volunteering, either formal or informal caregiving for the sick and disabled, or for children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren, and also career-related education, or education that is used to move into new careers. Both empirical research and theory tell us that supporting the continued engagement of older adults in social and productive activities that is personally valued is beneficial not only to individuals, but to families, communities, and to society at large. Let me elaborate a little on each of these levels. So on the individual level, a large body of evidence has accumulated pointing to the health effects of both social and productive engagement in later life. This relationship is likely to have a mutual influence. Participation fosters an older person's physical, cognitive, and psychological well-being, and older person's well-being also increases the likelihood of preserving participation in old age. Social and productive engagement also appear to confer health through psychosocial pathways, like protective healthy behaviors, self-esteem, and purpose in life, as well as through stress buffering effects that moderate the influence of stressors on health. These pathways through which participation can exert its health-promoting effects are important because they represent intervention points. For example, one can ask, what can be done to enhance meaning and purpose in my life? What in my current activity repertoire is meaningful to me? And what would I like to get involved in that would be meaningful to me? We're not talking about happiness per se. We're not talking about what is fun necessarily. We're talking about purpose in life. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What lights up your life? And as a society, we need to ask ourselves, what will that look like for older adults who have already raised their children, who have had their major careers? And how can they contribute to society or become involved in activities that provide opportunities for purposeful living and quality ties to others? Let me move beyond the individual now. Some have argued that those in the third age represent an enormous untapped natural resource. Older adults can be seen as a bevy of experience, knowledge, and human capital that could be leveraged to the benefit of families, communities, and society. Analyses conducted by the Urban Institute of the 2002 Health and Retirement Study revealed that among adults age 55 and older, 39% are working for pay, 1/3 volunteer formally, over half volunteer informally, meaning helping out friends and neighbors and such, and 39% care for family members. Overall, 8 in 10 older adults are engaged in one of these activities, and over half are engaged in multiple activities. The Urban Institute also estimates that unpaid activities by older adults accounted for $162 billion of economic value, or $27,000 per person on average. Caregiving accounts for about $100 billion of this total, with $61 billion in value created by those caring for older people who are sick or disabled, and $39 billion created by those providing childcare. And this is all in addition to the $768 billion in paid work among this population. Furthermore, policies and programs that facilitate social and productive engagement can support older adults' ability to remain living independently in the community as they age. And leveraging older adults' skills, knowledge, and experience through continued engagement in the community can be seen as a cost-effective strategy to revitalize and enhance communities. Finally, there's a social justice issue here that should be considered. To what extent should all citizens, regardless of age, have the ability and choice to participate in all phases of economic and social activities? So what is the charge here? What can we as practitioners do? We must work to ensure that opportunities for purposeful living and quality ties to others are not lacking for individuals in later life. In doing so, it's important not only to promote the involvement of older adults in roles or activities that support a sense of purpose, fulfillment, and value, but also to understand and improve the conditions and quality of the roles that older adults may want or need to participate. For example, we can work to improve the quality of employment for older workers and the structure and content of volunteer opportunities. Now, it is important to point out that some have criticized the productive aging literature by highlighting that the concept could engender an expectation that older adults must be productive, and that this emphasis could serve to marginalize and discount segments of the older adult population. In acknowledging this important consideration, involvement in activities that are considered productive should not be pushed upon older adults. And public policies, workplace policies, or prevailing attitudes should be careful not to support an expectation that older adults should work, volunteer, or give care in older age. Rather, it's important to acknowledge the extent to which diverse activities, including social activities, contribute to the well-being of older adults and the population at large. And one, work to be sure that there are ample opportunities for continued engagement for those who choose this route, and two, that barriers that may serve to disincentivize or detract from engagement in these activities are identified and removed. Dr. Nancy Morrill Howell proposes 5 core principles that should guide productive aging policies and programs. These include choice versus coercion, opportunity versus obligation, tapping growing human capital versus exploiting older adults, intergenerationism versus intergenerational conflict, and inclusion versus elitism. So what are some of these opportunities that we need to be enhancing and these barriers that we need to be breaking down? First of all, the norms and values that regulate what the role of older persons in society should be can hinder participation in older age. Historically, older adults have been directed away from many social and productive activities and pushed toward less meaningful participation. Relatedly, negative stereotypes that associate older age with retirement, illness, dependency, and poverty represent a barrier to older adults' participation, as does age discrimination, which may induce older adults to adopt behavior that society views as age-appropriate or may contribute to difficulties in securing paid work or volunteer opportunities. Secondly, an increasing number of innovative programs have been created at the national, state, and local level, funded both by public and private money, that promote the social and productive engagement of older adults. Programs like the AARP Experience Corps, which recruits adults age 50 and older to become tutors to improve the reading skills of children in kindergarten through 3rd grade in disadvantaged schools. and Reserve, an organization that matches professionals ages 55 and older, or reservists, with nonprofit organizations and public agencies in need of their expertise, are great examples of programs that facilitate volunteerism among older adults. And a broad range of other programs exist that provide pathways to work, provide educational opportunities, and facilitate informal helping and social interactions. This speaks in part to the infrastructure that needs to exist in order for these opportunities to be truly available to all older adults. Aging-friendly community initiatives and demonstration projects around the country are starting to confront these infrastructure challenges by working to increase informal social engagement through developing places for walking, sitting, meeting, and entertainment, as well as formal engagement through increasing opportunities for volunteering, work, and civic roles. Another way in which social participation can be facilitated in later life is through technology. Technology can allow for social and productive engagement through face-to-face video interaction, social media, texting, or emailing. Such technology can also facilitate the engagement of homebound elders who face significant barriers to getting involved, yet who would likely benefit the most from participating. Finally, existing health and social service organizations are being challenged to increase social and productive engagement programming. Residential facilities can and are striving to increase social connection within the facilities as well as to the community. The Aging Network services of the federal and state governments can work to extend social and productive engagement opportunities to more diverse older adults within older American Act structures. And area agencies on aging can foster engagement as well by getting the word out about opportunities in the community, disseminating home-based work and volunteer opportunities, offering computer training, and providing transportation to social and productive activities. In sum, social workers, nurses, and other helping professionals are uniquely positioned to help mediate the great social transformation signaled by the growing proportion of older adults in society. As policymakers, practitioners, and advocates, we can work to facilitate social and productive engagement across the full spectrum of ability, from healthy adults actively engaged in their communities to those who are coping with serious physical and mental health conditions in more supported environments like assisted living facilities and nursing homes.